Thank you, everyone, for being on the webinar today. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy days to be joining us. And we're really excited to be talking to you today about new developments that are coming out in Calgary by Truman Homes. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about ourselves. We are with Remax Wealth Builders Real Estate. And we have helped over 1,200 people from across Canada to invest in Calgary in just the last 4 years. We've sold nearly $500 million worth of pre-construction real estate there. Pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. And that's the size of the opportunity there as well. Our team, and this is probably what sets us apart from any other brokerage out there, any other team, we have personally invested in 20 Calgary pre-construction units ourselves individually. And we're actually going to go into more detail about what that looks like for our portfolios. My name is Kyle DeVigi. I've been a real estate broker for about 5 years now, but I've been a real estate investor for over a decade. I didn't always start in real estate, though. I previously managed Lotto 649 and Lotto Max draws across Canada. And now I've helped nearly 500 people to invest in pre-construction properties in Calgary alone. And one of the biggest mistakes people can make is not using an experienced agent when they're doing their investing. So in my hands, you are safe. And I like to help people replicate my success. I started with one single deposit of about $38,000, and I've turned that into a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio. And this is what my actual portfolio looks like. I now have 7 properties. 5 of those are in Toronto and the GTA, and the last 2 that I purchased were actually in Calgary. And I would have bought more Calgary, but I still have too many closings in Toronto. I have 4 closings probably in about the next 6 to 12 months that I have to get through, and I'm stressed. Don't want to talk about that. But anyways, this is what my actual portfolio looks like. It's got a current market value of about $4.5 million. But what gets me excited is in 30 years, all of the mortgages on these properties are going to be paid off. And at just 3% price growth, I'm looking at a market value of about $10.5 million when I retire. This is my retirement fund, my nest egg. And now I'd like you to meet Nish.
Hi, everyone. Nish Dissanayake here from Remax Wealth Builders as well. I've been investing in real estate since 2006. And I know many of you say, hey, he looks way too young to be investing since that age, but lights and camera and makeup do a ton. So yeah, first investment in 2006. Overall, I have 9 investment properties. 7 of those properties are in Calgary and 2 of them are right here in Toronto. I've been a licensed realtor since November of 2020, so coming up on 4 years in the business. But above all these other accomplishments, my real success has been in Calgary, selling pre-construction to investors. And I've had the opportunity to help over 250 investors find profitable investments in Calgary. On top of my pre-construction business, I'm also operating as a resale agent in the Greater Toronto Area. And over the past 3 years, I've been recognized within the 1% of realtors across all of the Greater Toronto Area. And that's the TREB Real Estate Board, the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, that has over 75,000 agents. Again, been in that 1 percentile for the last 3 years and hopefully this year as well. Prior to my time as a realtor, I worked in the corporate environment in a sales capacity, leading a sales and operations department. And going back to something that Kyle just mentioned about his nest egg, preparing a good portfolio of real estate investments to have as a retirement plan. One of the things that I saw when I was in the corporate environment working different jobs is too many people are relying on the government and smaller levels of savings to help during their retirement years to be able to enjoy that time of their life. But unfortunately, many of those people have lost a lot of that money during the pandemic and the ups and downs of the stock market. And this is another reason why investing in real estate has become, I guess, my principal focus in how I will take care of myself and my family down the road. By investing in real estate over the last 2 years, specifically in Calgary, I was able to take my real estate portfolio and 5x it in under 2 years. This is what my portfolio looks like. Again, total of 9 properties, 7 in Alberta today, with a net worth of just over $5 million and expected to grow to just under $13 million at a very conservative 3% year over year appreciation. And the ones that are in yellow, those that can see, those are the ones that are going to be coming up again in our presentation, because I want to focus on this area in Calgary a bit down the road.
And then next,
And next
I'd
we
like
have
you to
Kripa.
meet Kripa Patel. She's the newest member to Remax Wealth Builders and our local boots on the ground. She's actually located in Calgary. So to be able to service all of our clients, we have her expertise there. Kripa, do you want to talk a little bit about yourself?
For sure. So, hi everyone. Like Kyle mentioned, I'm the boots on the ground in Calgary. I've lived in Calgary for 20 years and I've lived in every part of Calgary. So, I know what goes on. I know where people want to live and where people are kind of running away from. I know the areas that are growing the most and what attracts people to which community. My background is in qualitative and quantitative research. I have various published articles out with NASA and Harvard. So, research is what I do. And so, you can rest assured that we will be able to give you the most applicable data that you can use towards, and that Kyle and Nish have, but in a way where you feel confident that you have somebody local in Calgary being able to guide you through each step and taking care of your property as well from a distance. Basically, I deal with our team's resale, so I'm happy to be part of Remax Wealth Builders. I do all the resale for our team and make sure that you get the most amount of money with the least amount of stress for your property when you decide to sell your investment. So thank you so much for having me on the team, guys, and I will pass it back to Kyle and Nish to take over.
And Kripa
Awesome.
is our oversight committee. So whenever we have questions about certain areas to make sure that we're on the right page, we refer back to our, I guess, at some level, a scientist if you're publishing data for Harvard and NASA. So glad to have her on board.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the Calgary real estate market and what's going on there. Because Nish and I are both based in Toronto and GTA. It's kind of funny for us to be selling properties all the way out west in Calgary. But we work with investors and investors want to maximize their returns. So let's take a look at what the returns have looked like in Calgary. Nish, do you want to take it?
Perfect. So the August market in Calgary saw a slight dip in sales. Now, comparatively to the other 4 major markets in Canada, this is a drop in the bucket. I mean, it's been a bloodbath in Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal. And I think this is maybe the second month we've seen a slight dip in overall sales in the Calgary market. But, you know, there's many things that are happening that are contributing to this. Of course, the higher interest rates have impacted people's ability to buy. And as new inventory comes on the market, less of those new builds and other properties get absorbed. So there is some supply left on the market. Currently, we are averaging 27 days on market for resale, and there's just over 2 months of supply, which means we're still very much in a seller's market, unlike other provinces and other cities. Now, this all said, we also need to take a look at what's happening with the individual price points for a different product, because that's really another indicator of how well the market is doing. So, Kyle, if you want to flip to the next slide for me. Looking at the different property types, our single-family homes, detached properties, we're looking at just not monthly numbers, but we're also looking at year-over-year numbers. And comparing where the numbers were last August, we're up almost 14% in freehold homes. These are the detached single-family homes, and average prices have now exceeded $800,000. When we first started selling Calgary, detached prices were probably in the 500s, maybe high 4s, low 5s, if I remember. So they've come up dramatically, and that trend, you know, it seems to continue. There are more listings coming on the market, as we indicated, because less of them are being absorbed, but that is cyclical, and we're hoping that with the reduced interest rates, these things will stabilize over the next few months. Flipping over to the semi-detached product, which is the half duplex that they call out in Calgary. This is, you know, two dwellings under one roof. The average price is $658,000 and has also seen a year-over-year increase of 12.8%, another double-digit increase, which is awesome. And then moving over to townhomes and the condos, which is generally where we get the most amount of our product. Townhomes have increased by 11% year over year, now averaging over $465,000. And condos saw the highest increase year to date at 14.1% compared to last year, and have reached new record numbers for average pricing at $353,805. And again, that's the overall average. It does take into account products that are 30 years old. Majority of these products are, well over 15 years old compared to the newer products, which typically have a much higher price point.
Yeah, and you compare this to markets like Toronto, where you're seeing the condo prices actually going down. And in some cases, for small units, studios, the downtown market, down significantly, $50,000, $100,000 from where they were. So the Calgary market is just the complete opposite of the other major markets like Toronto and Vancouver. Kripa, I know you work a lot in the city. What sort of price increases and things have you seen over the last year or two?
We've seen an increase of anywhere from 50 to 100,000 for certain products. I know that townhomes right now are at 11% year over year, but they were actually at 16% at one time, including certain areas of the city. So we saw a 20% increase in East Calgary, where a majority of our products are, and that goes for all property types. So we're seeing quite a lot of increase in price overall. Even if the sales are coming down a little bit, the property prices are still going up. So that is a really good indicator that the market is still moving in an upwards trajectory. The interest rates are kind of holding us back. However, the prices are continuously going up and have not been affected.
Yeah, and I think across the board, we're seeing wherever the most affordable units are, those are the areas that are really tending to outperform. That's the Northeast, the East, the Southeast. You're seeing very, very strong appreciation in those areas. So why buy Calgary? If rising prices isn't enough of a reason, you're an investor, you're looking to have a return on your money. Let's talk about the city and what's going on there. And it's about jobs, economy, strength. Alberta is actually expected to lead economic growth across Canada, not just this year, not just next year, but really looking for about 4 years out now. You're seeing huge unemployment numbers in Toronto, in a lot of Ontario, that continue to go up every time new data is released. And Alberta is really bucking that trend. You're seeing tons of businesses going there, tons of money being invested into the province. And when there's prosperity, when there's money, people tend to follow. And you're definitely seeing that. It's not oil and gas anymore, guys. You're seeing growth coming from other sectors. And this is what really gets me excited. Technology. Technology is the wave of the future. AI is the latest trend in the stock market. NVIDIA is the most expensive stock on that. It has performed incredibly well over the last couple of years. But Calgary is topping markets in North America in terms of new tech growth. It has just been soaring. And we've been talking about this for the last 2-3 years. And it's amazing to see that trend continuing. And why? Well, employees love Calgary because you're getting, probably better payments, better incomes than across the city. It's one of the highest paying cities in all of Canada, but it's very affordable on a relative basis, especially with the housing prices. So you have huge economic growth, huge opportunities, tech sector blowing up. This is what I love to see in any market that I'm personally investing in. And this is why Calgary is different. This situation is different than it has been in the past because you had seen it boom and bust on the price of oil historically. And 3-4 years ago, you did see that bust. And that's why prices had come down. People were fleeing the province. And that has now really started to reverse. But if oil goes down again, I don't expect to see that mass exodus because the cuts were done. The consolidation was done back in really 2015 and through to about 2020. You haven't seen massive increases in the oil and gas sector. There's still significant office vacancies downtown, which is a huge other area of opportunity for these tech companies to be coming in with really cheap landlord costs. So it's really the perfect storm right now. And this gets me really, really excited. And you're seeing people flocking into Alberta, record breaking population growth. And really, it's been every quarter now for about the last 2 years. You've had record breaking growth, the most number of people ever moving to the province. And this really isn't slowing down very much. Alberta was actually the fastest growing province in Canada. And a huge source of that growth is from international immigration. Probably represents about 80% of the price growth. Now, with the federal changes and different immigration policy, that might slow a little bit. But you're also seeing significant interprovincial migration as well, mainly people from Ontario moving over to Alberta. I'm kind of returning home or seeking areas of opportunity. Because if a new immigrant was to land in the GTA, had a budget of $500,000 for a house, I can get you a studio, maybe a small 1 bedroom for that. Whereas in Calgary, you can still get, 4 bedroom townhomes in that range. You can stretch to do that. So a lot of people are looking around like, what am I doing in Ontario? What am I doing in Vancouver? These other pricey markets. Let's go to Alberta. There's the prosperity, good employment opportunities, and very affordable housing. So let's talk about how we can take advantage of these trends that are going on. There's two brand new developments that we want to talk to you about today. The first one is Highgate Condos.
So just before we get into the Highgate condo project and even the other one that we're going to be talking about, which is Watercrest, both those projects are located in the Northeast or the east part of Calgary. And earlier in the presentation, I shared with you my portfolio, but now I'm just going to focus on the projects that I purchased that are in the Northeast and the east part of Calgary. And I did this analysis just earlier this week for one of my clients to show where my properties have appreciated the most. And by far, the properties that have seen the best and the highest growth in purchase price to today's current market value, and not anecdotal value. I'm looking at properties of equal or similar types that have sold recently. The Northeast is by far the best investment that I have made. So there's a total of 5 properties that I invested in. 4 of those properties have closed, currently have tenants, and are cash flowing, which is also another factor that you need to think about when you're looking at investing. How much money are you able to be down every month, or do you want to be flat? In other markets, you're going to be losing money significantly. In Calgary, if you buy the right properties and you do the right things, you're going to be able to maintain those properties without paying out of pocket. Now, the 4 properties that I currently have right now, looking at the time that I purchased them back in 2021 and in 2022, those 4 properties have increased in value by over $300,000. And that's looking at my capital investment, which is 20% down, which is what you need to do for investment properties. And looking at the returns, as you can see in one of the last lines or last columns here, some of these properties are returning well over 150% of my initial capital. And the ones that have seen the least amount of growth are the ones that have just closed. So given a bit of time, my Aberdeen property, I know will also start to bump up in appreciated value. And really, there's nowhere else that I can think of where you can see annualized returns that are in the 30s and the 40% range. Combined, all the properties, because I do have one more that's closing next year, also in the east part of Calgary. And I know, Kyle, you have 2 properties in that neighborhood as well. That value, just looking at today's sales, even though I'm going to redo this next year when I take possession of that property, even that property is seeing a growth of almost $60,000. And this is why when we have launches in the Northeast, we really get excited and pumped up, because we know the potential of investing in the Northeast, what it can do for your portfolio and what it can do in terms of returning as best as possible and as much as possible on your hard-earned money that you're investing.
Yeah, those are
Now,
great points, Niche. And that's where you don't even need, 151% return. That is amazing. Grand slam home run. But even just say at 5% price growth in the market, which over the long term, absolutely achievable, that is actually a 25% return on the money that you have invested down, because you're taking advantage of leverage that you can do for real estate. Real estate is the only asset that allows you to do that. And 25% return, that is going to kill just about any other return out there that you're investing. Stock market, annually significantly less than that. So you don't need to buy 5, 10, 20 properties. One single property, adding that one property into your portfolio, into the mix, you can have a significant return on that asset. A diversified portfolio is the advice that just about every financial advisor out there gives. So, add that one property. Over 30 years, you're going to have a paid off property that's cash flowing, adding money into your retirement, and has hopefully, significantly appreciated in that time. That is the power of real estate. The Northeast of Calgary has just been turbocharging that over the last couple of years.
And Kripa, if I can get your insight, because this is an area that not only have you done a ton of business in, but you've also lived in the Northeast. Can you speak a little bit to why it's growing at the rate that it's growing?
I actually am a huge fan of Northeast. So Northeast typically attracts a certain type of demographic. Think of the Brampton or the Surrey of Calgary. And because of this demographic and the cultural value of buying a property, this is what people are doing there. They really believe in home ownership. They really believe in purchasing a property and having a place to call home. And like Kyle mentioned, a lot of our prices and our population growth is driven by immigration. So for these immigrants who are coming in to feel like they made it in Canada, that they now have a property that they own or they have somewhere to live, it's a big driving factor of the market prices. So as an investor, having that local context is really advantageous. Not only do you know that this is where the prices are going up, but you can understand why and feel confident in buying in the Northeast. So that's what I would say about the Northeast is the demographic that it attracts and people want to kind of live within that area. They really believe in home ownership. Another thing is the city is currently not developing too many neighborhoods around the northeast of the city. So that's why the projects we do have, the demand is so high for them that investing there makes sense.
No, great points, and thank you for sharing that insight. When immigrants come to Canada, they feel more comfortable when they have access to amenities that they're used to back home. And when you have a community that is established like the Northeast with those amenities, those conveniences, people that you can have conversations with that understand where you're coming from, you're going to see more and more people gravitate towards communities like that. And with that mentality and cultural significance of wanting to be homeowners, when one family buys a home and the rest of their family hears about it, they're going to want to buy a house. And in some cases, maybe even a better house or a bigger house, but all within the same neighborhood. So there is a domino effect there. And yeah, thanks so much for sharing that.
I actually do have some clients who moved here from Ontario, and because they all speak a certain language, they all bought a house on the same street of each
Fantastic.
other. So they're all young couples, they all live on the same street, formed a little community, and they have friends who are willing to pay 10, 20, 30,000 more than the average buyer because they like to stay within their own comfortable area.
Absolutely. So everyone on this webinar that's watching it live or on the recording, trust us, but you can verify what we're saying with Kripa because she's experiencing it every day. Awesome. So let's dig in a little bit to our newest project, which we launched on Monday, which is the Highgate Condos in Huxley. It's a community in the Northeast. Belvedere is the larger area that Huxley is in. And the closing, so taking possession of this property, is in 2026, potentially leading into 2027. There are 4 5-story buildings, and currently we're selling phase 1, which is building 2,000. I know that doesn't mean a lot to anyone here, but the reason I want to drive home phase 1 is typically in phase 1 is where you're going to get the best pricing and the I guess the most desired incentive. So this is really where you want to focus on if you are interested in Highgate, because you're going to get the best bang for your buck. Going back to the community of Belvedere, it is a master plan community. It's approximately 125 acres. Currently, there's over 1,300 homes, but the way the community has been planned, there's still a ton of room to expand, and that's what's happening at the moment. phenomenal location. You're 8 minutes from downtown. It takes me 8 minutes to get to my underground parking spot from my condo. So that 8 minutes is a zip to get to the downtown core. You're also only 10 minutes from Lake Chestermere, which is the adjacent city to Calgary. And Lake Chestermere is the only recreational lake in that area. So this is where in the summertime and when the water is nice, people are on the water, on their boats, the stand-up paddle boards, all the recreational activity that you can do on the water is available in Lake Chestermere, which is again just under 10 minutes away. You have your shopping and your necessities and amenities within 15 minutes. There's a large shopping center, East Hill Shopping Center. There's a Sunridge Mall. You also have access to large department stores like Home Depot, Costco, Walmart. They're all within a few minutes in the East Hills area. Now, for those that are flying into the city or need to fly out of the city, you're only 15 minutes away from the International Airport in Calgary. And this is a big deal because being able to access an international airport in that amount of time opens up the door for different types of renters, people that travel often would want to live in a place like this because you're so close to downtown and you may need the space if you have a larger family. So again, from an investor standpoint, perfect because you're going to have tenants that are going to be around for a long time. And for other recreational purposes, world-renowned Banff is only 90 minutes away or under 90 minutes away heading west. And these are all legitimate travel times, not that you have to travel at 4:30 in the morning to get to these places in the time that's outlined. The transportation system and the roadways have all been prepared to accommodate this type of volume. So you're able to get from A to Z and sometimes Y in the time that's allocated here. Now let's take a look at the pricing structure. So there are 3 different floor plans. There we have our 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-bed, 1-bath, and 3-bedroom, 2-bath condos. The starting price, funny enough, the base level prices are all on the second level. So the starting price for the 2-bedroom, 1-bath is $364,900 plus GST. And you'll see all the different price points on the table. I'm not going to go through all of them. We will provide a link to all the existing inventory in a follow-up email, but really this is the price point. And if you're looking at a 3-bedroom unit, you can get in as little as $440,000 as well. We have fantastic floor plans, which I know that we're going to look at, but just before we get to the floor plans, I want to talk a little bit about what is included with the purchase incentive. So there are 3 different down payments. There's a 5% down payment plan. You don't get a ton of incentives, but it's still available in case you want to invest with little capital. Then you have your typical main deposit structures where 10% or 20%. And those deposit structures are spread over a year. All the price points or all the deposit structures start off with $15,000 on signing. So this is what you need to have available when you want to secure a unit. And then the remainder of your first 5% is due in 90 days. For the 10% and 20% down payments, there's 2 other payments that are made. It's going to be halfway through that year and then again in a year. And then we're looking at the incentives. Again, 5% is really not a lot of happening, but it's there if you need it. Going to the 10% down and the 20% down promotions, you have free condo fees. So either 2 years with a 10% down or 3 years with the 20% down. There's a rental guarantee as well. This is where the developer, Truman Homes, they will lease the unit from you for that set amount of time and pay you a set amount of money for that time period, whether there's a tenant in the unit or not. And they also manage the property and the tenant. Sorry, they manage the property and the tenant for you for that duration. So you can be hands off as much as you want, where you don't need to worry about a thing. They take care of everything for you. With the 10%, if you want a parking stall, which it's probably a good idea, you're looking at an additional $12,500 for that. And if you want a locker or locker, as I spelt it there, it's $1,500. And the 20% down payment plan, you get the parking and locker for free. They all allow assignment options if you wish. Not something we recommend, but for those that are interested, there are fees associated. They range anywhere from $1,000 to $3,500, depending on which down payment structure you go with. Now let's take a peek at the floor plan. So this is your standard And I think the most popular floor plan, which is the A floor plan, is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. It's a total square footage of between 720 and 730 square feet. This does factor in the usable space outside. So internal space could be anywhere between 630 and 640, if I'm looking at that correctly. I'm sorry, my eyes don't work too well. And then you have a balcony, which is about 70 square feet. It's a really great layout. It's a split floor plan or split plan floor plan where you have the 2 bedrooms on either side of the unit. There's really no unused space. You walk in, to your left, you have the kitchen, the island. To the right, you have your second bathroom, which is a full bathroom. And then on your left, you have the owner's retreat, which is the primary bedroom that also has a walk-in closet and an ensuite 4-piece bathroom. The balcony, as mentioned, is about 70 square feet. All balconies are usable in Calgary in the sense that you are allowed to have balconies out there. So during the time of year when you are able to enjoy the outdoors, perfect for a small picnic area with your balcony so you can enjoy the weather when it's warm or when it's cold, if that's what you're into. And then we have the B floor plan. It's slightly smaller in size, about 10 to 15 square feet smaller than the A level. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom floor plan. Also perfect in terms of the space allocated for usability. There's no long hallways that you have to walk through to get anywhere. So every square inch of this floor plan is used. There's a beautiful large gather, which is the living area, which also leads to a walkout balcony, slightly bigger than I think the other one, in the airflow plan. Yeah, about 5 square feet larger. Very much also accommodates a outdoor living space with a barbecue. And then the Big Daddy, the 3-bedroom floor plan C, which is just over 1,000 square feet of usable space. Phenomenal option. You have your owner's retreat, which is on one side of the unit, and then you have the second and third bedroom, usually smaller bedrooms. In this case, you can see what the sizes are. They are going to be smaller, but also have 2 bedrooms. Also have 2 bathrooms, 2 full bathrooms. Second bathroom is used between the second and third bedroom typically, and also for guests. And then you have your ensuite and walk-in closet that is directly attached to the owner's retreat. Significantly larger balcony here. It's over 210 square feet. It's a patio, in my opinion. You can have the picnic table that I was referring to earlier. You can have a large barbecue, a seating area, just a phenomenal space that you can enjoy. There's access to this balcony from both the owner's retreat and from the second bedroom, along with from the living and dining area. So perfect spot to enjoy some sun, because I don't think we mentioned this earlier, but Calgary is a city that gets the most amount of sunlight in Canada, over 2,500 hours of sunlight per year. And amenities as well. This is pretty standard for the Truman Homes developments. They are world class when it comes to what they include. So there's a gym and fitness center, there's a yoga room, there's a spin studio, which is separate from the gym and the fitness center. There is an owner's lounge and an entertainment area. There's a media room. There's a pet spa. Maybe Kripa, you have a dog, right?
I have 3, and
3 dogs. So maybe you can speak a little bit to what the pet spa adds in terms of the value, because I can't relate. Apparently it's a washing and grooming station, so you can circle back to that. And they have a dedicated bicycle storage and repair room. So what's the benefit of having a pet spa?
well, Calgary's a city where we actually build out. We don't build up like you guys. So because we build out, we go on a lot of walks. We all have a lot more dogs here, I find. And so having a pet spa, it's such an integral part of a lifestyle for us that it's super important. Even builders are recognizing it. So you can wash your dog. I think you can even get your dog a massage there at some of these places. So keeping your dogs happy, which in turn makes the owner happy. Yeah, the dogs are treated better here than.
And Calgary doesn't use a lot of salt on the roads either, right? Predominantly use sand.
We use sand and these chips, especially on the highways, which is great for clearing up the snow, but not for your windshield. So that's one of the things that Calgary differs on. But we do build outwards. So having amenities like this is incredibly helpful, especially the bicycle storage. Again, you have a lot more people kind of out and about. I think it's 316 days of the year that are sunny here. So yeah, Niche is on the ball with that. So we have a lot of sun, we have a lot of parks and sunshine and things to do.
Fantastic. There's two fantastic color palettes. They have the New York color palette, which is typically a gray floor color palette, and similar tones for the matching cabinetry and backsplash. And then you have the LA color palette, which is I guess more traditional with the brownish floors, but have a much lighter backsplash and cabinetry. So just depending on what you're interested in, these are the two color palettes. It keeps it simple. There's not hundreds of different choices that get you overwhelmed. You can either choose LA or New York when you are purchasing your unit. And any changes that you want to do afterwards, certainly you can do so once you take possession. But these are the two fantastic options that the developer provides you upon your purchase.
And Highgate is now officially on sale. It just launched on Monday. There's a fantastic selection of units still available. So if you're interested, definitely reach out to one of us and we'd be happy to go through the availability and the pricing.
Perfect. Thanks,
And
Al.
now, moving on to Watercrest Townhomes. So this is a project that really gets me excited. Watercrest is the latest townhome launch by Truman Homes. This is located just east of Highgate, kind of like a 5-minute drive, but it's just outside of the city. And it's technically in Chestermere, it's called. Chestermere is really like the Oakville of Calgary. It's a high-end executive community, high net worth individuals, very, very family oriented. But you're still just about 20, maybe in the worst case, 25 minutes to downtown Calgary. That's actually closer than a lot of the new projects that are being launched in Calgary, because Calgary is kind of tall and skinny, So if you're up at the bottom and the top, it's actually quite a distance to the downtown core. So that's where Chestermere is, just outside the very, very edge, pushing towards Calgary. Calgary's pushing towards it. One day I could see it harmoniously all together. We'll see if that ever happens, amalgamation. But you are incredibly close to the downtown core and you get all of the benefits of the city of Calgary. It's not like some of the other smaller cities like Okotoks, Canmore, that are outside of the city itself by a significant distance. You are right on the very edge of the city. And they're building, this is the quintessential townhome. Really, it's a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath town. 3 of the bedrooms are on the top floor. They're all good sizes, nearly 10 by 10, plus the closet, which is a good space. And then you also have a 4th bedroom or den, whatever you want to do on the main level, just additional living space that you can take advantage of. Also comes with a 2-car heated garage too, which is nice. You don't have to clear the car off. You don't even have to heat up the car, because it's already going to be ready to go for you. These are very good sized units, about 1,570 square feet. It does come with a large balcony as well, a little bit smaller than the 3-bedroom ones at Highgate, but still you could set up a patio table, you could have outdoor space, set up your barbecue, have a really good living situation. Now, these are some of the interiors. Very similar, you have the New York or the LA, so they've pulled over the condo styling guides into the townhomes as well. And Kripa, you've been in some of these townhomes. Could you talk about the level of finishing and what clients can expect?
Honestly, the level of finishing in these townhomes is immaculate. I personally would buy this and live in it myself. I love these townhomes. The layout is great. They're actually really spacious compared to some of the other townhome options in Calgary. So a lot of people prefer to go with these. And in general, the reputation that these townhome complexes that we've had, some of them from 2016, so they've been around for a while, and people have had great feedback on the quality. They're saying that they love living there. Nothing really goes wrong. Maintenance is easy. So I'm a huge fan of these. And my personal opinion, I am more of a New York person than the LA palette, but everyone's got their own taste.
Well, both are very neutral color tones. They appeal to the masses, which is why Truman kind of limits the options because these are fantastic for just about everyone. And Kripa had mentioned it, these are low maintenance sort of townhomes. There is a condo fee, but that includes your, the lawn maintenance, the snow removal, all that sort of stuff. So all you need to do is drive in and out of your unit, and that's all the maintenance that you're going to need to do. There isn't significant house repairs and things that you have to take care of every weekend. You can focus on going outside, walking that dog, riding that bike, enjoying your life instead of taking care of your property. Now, this is what the
Before you
development.
go to, can you just do me one quick here? Can you go to slide 18 for a second, please?
18. All right. 1 second.
So the 3 townhomes that I currently have are that exact floor plan that Kyle just showed you.
Right.
The York Towns and the Savannah townhome, 1,570 square feet. I haven't had any issues with any of the fixtures. And as you can see, if you're just looking at the numbers, those two are the highest appreciating asset that I have in my portfolio. I'm going to give another 6 to 8 months for Aberdeen to get up there as well, but Aberdeen as well, exactly the same floor plan. Sorry, just wanted to add that in to reinforce what both of you had mentioned.
And Aberdeen is located in Chestermere as well. So, very, very close to where Watercrest is going to be. So this is the development itself. You've got a decent block of townhomes. You are going to have some streets abutting it, but this is all residential. You're not going to have a highway running through, massive traffic, anything like that. So amazing for families. There are going to be schools built nearby. Like Nish had said, you have all of the benefits of Highgate because it's only like 5 minutes away. So you have the East Hill Shopping Complex, Chestermere Lake. There's a rapid bus transit system that now runs through the city. Through Chestermere. So you get to take advantage of all of those benefits. And let's take a look at what some of the payment plans look like. There is a 10% and a 20% deposit as well that you can choose from. The 20 deposit is structured over about 1.5 years, so it gives you significant more time to come up with that development. And at closing, just like the condos, if this is going to be a rental property, you do need to put 20% down. And the only difference in the incentives is really 1 year versus 3 year. 1 with the 10, 3 with the 20% down payment. You'll get free condo fees, that rental guarantee. That can range from $2,400 to $2,500 a month. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in the next slide, including free property management as well. So great deposit options to pick from. Now that rental guarantee. This is very attractive because the rental rates in the area today are probably just below these. There's been a little bit of softening for the townhomes, and most of the listings you're seeing right now are about 23 up to about 25.50, but you're seeing a little bit more come on. So heading into the fall, which tends to be a weaker market, these are kind of the going rates, maybe a little bit above the actual rental rates in the area today. Now, with the rental guarantee, it is completely hands-off, hassle-free. The developer, they take care of everything for you, including renting the unit, advertising it. They do the inspection walkthroughs. They deal with the tenant. So you're going to get that guaranteed amount every single month, even if the unit's empty, even if the tenant's not paying rent. It helps you protect your investment because you have that certainty you're getting paid that amount every single month. So some investors find that very comforting and reassuring, and that's included with every purchase at this development. Now, let's talk about pricing. The middle units, those are $519,900. GST is included. This is your all-in purchase price, no hidden fees, nothing else to add on to that. The end units are $539,900, including tax. Now, let's take a look at some of the townhomes. These are identical townhomes to what these will be that have recently completed just a street or two over, ranging from $505,000 up to $520,000 for an identical middle unit. This is apples to apples comparison. You are buying a pre-construction property at resale prices. This is incredibly rare. This does not normally happen. Pre-construction is typically always more expensive because it always costs more to build, today than it did yesterday. And the property is brand new when you get it. And the closing date on these is looking like 2027. That's the farthest closing of any townhome available in Calgary today. So if you wanted to get into a townhome investment in the city at a very good deposit rate with a far closing, this is by far your best option to do that and to take advantage of that buying at the resale prices today. No price premium. And then let's take a look quickly at what the cash flow might look like. You know, at a $519,900 purchase price, now I put $2,450 because rents are likely to go up over the next 3 years. So even say a $2,450, if you don't take the rental guarantee, rent it out yourself, interest rates are expected to come down significantly by the end of 2026. And these are not my forecasts. This is actually on Wawa. They do interest rate forecasting, expecting variable rates to be around 3.35%. So your mortgage payment would be just over $1,800 a month. Yes, it is a condo, so there are some condo fees associated with it. Those range from about $312 up to about $320 a month. Your property tax would be just over about $200. Your landlord insurance right around $100. And if you're renting it yourself, the utilities are going to be paid by the tenant. So your total expense is just over $600. So your cash flow, yes, it says zero, but it is covering all of the expenses of carrying the property. You're not taking any more money from your pocket to carry this unit using pretty much today's rental rates and interest rate forecasts for the end of 2026. This is incredible. If you try to do this in Toronto in the GTA, you're going to be negative still like $1,000 a month, even at like a 3.35% interest rate. So you're having a very strong appreciating market. You can carry it with no more money out of your pocket. And those are, the things that you're looking for as an investor. Because even if it was negative, $100, $200 a month, yeah, that sucks, but you're still getting mortgage payments down as well. Several $100s every single month that you're building equity in. And the appreciation, even at 3% price growth, 5% price growth, something much more moderate, don't expect to get those numbers that Niche has gotten, but very, very conservative numbers. You're still having significant appreciation and growth in the market. So this is a really interesting opportunity to get a late closing townhome at very, very attractive pricing. Niche, anything else to add?
The incentive package can actually put you in the black, because keep in mind, if you go with the 10%, your first year condo fees are free. So now you're not cash flow neutral. You're going to be up $300+ every month. And if you go with a 3-year plan, that's going to be, what's 300 times 12? You're looking at $3,600 a year. So if you go with a 20-year or 20% down, you're going to be up $10,000 over those 36 months. And that's still, I believe, factoring in a very conservative rental market, because today I'm getting, in that $2,300 to $2,400 range in rent. I could only imagine it's going to go up. So we like to do things very conservatively in our projections, because the conversation is much easier to have with a client when you estimate low as opposed to over promising and under delivering. So these are the types of things you want to factor into your purchase. And the fact that these incentives are in place right now is a great opportunity to take advantage and be cash flowing on a monthly basis.
Yep, that was a great point. I completely forgot the condo fees were free. And you get that even if you don't take the rental guarantee. So that would put you in the black several $100s a month in a conservative scenario as well. So very, very attractive. So those are the two opportunities that we had that we really wanted to talk to you about today. And I'm sure you have questions. So if you want to get in touch, after this, we'll be sending out a recording of the video. All our contact details will be in that. Please reach out, book a call. We want to talk to you. All of our services, 100% free. There's no obligation. So just reach out. You have nothing to lose. Nish or Krupp, anything else to add?
Well, we've gone through this journey ourselves many times over. So we will tell you with full transparency and honestly, if it's a good investment opportunity or not, because we have done it ourselves. And I think going back to one of the points that we made earlier, this is really what separates the Wealth Builder team from every other team out there that's selling Calgary, that's just speaking on things anecdotally and maybe not with the history and experience. We've walked these paths. So happy to share the pitfalls, what to keep your eye out for, what not to do. But more importantly, when there's an investment opportunity that we believe is a good one, we're going to tell you and we're going to remind you over and over, this is a good one to pursue. And the ones that we shared today are in that category, hence us doing this webinar and sharing the details with you.
Kirp, any final comments?
No, I hope people found this valuable. These are amazing projects, and if anyone has questions, we're here to help.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. And with that, thank you everyone for attending. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day. We'll be sending a recording of the video just after this session. So please book a call, get in touch. We want to help you grow your real estate portfolios. Bye for now.
Thanks, everyone.